All right, so if you watched my yesterday's video, you saw that Bitcoin reacted pretty hard to all the Iran and geopolitical tension stuff. It dipped and sentiment got shaky, and the market looked like it might roll over. But today, everything has flipped. Bitcoin is back up near the highs, pushing towards that 75 to 76K area again. And the interesting part is why. Because it's not just one thing, it's actually three big forces all hitting the market at the same time. So we've got the massive 2.5 billion Bitcoin buy, a shift in the Iran geopolitical sentiment, and then finally the fact that crypto is basically moving with macro markets again. So in this video, we're going to break down all of those things, what's actually happened, what matters, and some key levels to watch for towards the end in the 4 hour and the daily time frame, and realistically where Bitcoin could go next. So let's start with something that maybe not too many people are actually talking about, but it is very, very important. Strategy is a company that is led by Michael Saylor himself. And what they've done is they've bought 34,164 Bitcoin at this average price of 74,395 US per coin. So this isn't just retail. It's not just some random whale. This is actually serious capital that is getting put back into the market. So this kind of move actually moves the markets. So when something like this happens, it adds immediate buyer pressure and it boosts confidence across the market. And it also signals that institutions are still accumulating at these levels. Now, the important part is that this kind of buying doesn't affect price short term. It changes market psychology because people start thinking like, okay, if billions are being deployed up here, maybe this isn't just the top. Now, let's connect this to what we saw yesterday. So yesterday, the narrative was like a rising tension, war fears, and that risk off sentiment. So what did Bitcoin actually do? Well, Bitcoin dropped. And that's the key because a lot of people still think that Bitcoin is still, some kind of safe haven. But recently, that hasn't really been the case. And today, there's this talk of this de-escalation, peace discussions, and a less immediate fear in the market. And when things like this happen, markets and stocks stabilize, risk assets bounce, and the Bitcoin does come back up. And that is exactly what we're seeing today. So Bitcoin is reacting to the geopolitics in the same way that stocks do, not as a hedge, but as a risk asset. So that's a huge shift, but honestly, most people are still not fully adjusted to this reality that's currently happening. And so this brings us actually to the bigger picture. Right now, crypto isn't moving in, like an isolation. It's tied into this stock market sentiment, global risk appetite, the news cycles, and the liquidity. So when you see positive macro news, markets go up and Bitcoin also goes up. But when you see negative macro news, you get the idea. Markets drop, Bitcoin drops as well. So the key takeaway is that Bitcoin right now is being driven by big money, like this $2.5 billion buy, macro sentiment, and the geopolitics, not just some crypto fundamentals. So what does this actually mean? This means that the market is actually strong, but it is very fragile. So we have to be very careful in when we are trading because yes, big buyers are stepping in, but price is still very dependent on external events. So this isn't just a straight line rally environment. It's more like a spike pullback, reaction to news, and then a repeat of those actions, which is why levels matter a lot right now. And now looking at the chart side of things, right now Bitcoin is holding above a short-term support zone and making higher lows after that recent bounce. So the key levels to watch for currently would be the resistance level, which is about 76k to 77k. And this is where price has recently struggled to come bullish. And now if we break and hold above this, the momentum likely continues. But Support, on the other hand, would be around 72 to 73k, which is around this area here. And now this is an area where buyers stepped in after that dip, and losing this could mean a deeper pullback. So on the 4-hour time frame, it's a potential breakout setup. And now this is where it gets a little bit more interesting. So Bitcoin is still in an overall uptrend, but it's starting to show signs of consolidation near the highs. So the key levels in this daily time frame would be a major resistance level of 77k to 80k, which, as you can see, is right here. So about 77 to 80k, and this is more of a psychological to technical level that we've got. And breaking this cleanly could open a door to a much bigger move. And whereas for the downside, we have a major support level sat around that 68 to 70k range. And this is your trend protection zone. And if price drops here and holds, structure stays bullish. And now if we were to talk scenarios and predictions, a bullish case would be that price breaks above that 76 to 77k, holds that level, and then if momentum continues, that case would be looking at a push towards about 80k, especially if macro stays stable and institutional buying continues. But then we can also have a neutral or more like a consolidation phase where price keeps rejecting resistance, moves sideways between 72 and 77k. This would actually be healthy as it builds structure before that next move. And then finally, as the bearish case, what we'd see is negative macro news hitting the market again. And as for the bearish scenario, negative macro news hits again, or markets turn risk off, and then Bitcoin would lose that 72k level and would start moving back down towards 68 to 70k, which doesn't break the entire trend, but it does slow down momentum significantly. So now overall, this move today isn't random. It's a combination of big institutional money stepping in, a shift in this geopolitical sentiment, and the fact that Bitcoin is moving with the broader markets again. And honestly, that last point might be the most important, because if you're trading or investing right now, you can't just watch crypto anymore. You have to watch the world. Anyways, I'm curious what you guys think. Do you see Bitcoin breaking into new highs from here, or is it just another short-term reaction? Let me know what you think in the comments below. And don't forget to check out the link to Everdex in the description below, which is a platform I use for all of my trading. So as always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.